Right, Dave. Let's have a look.
Yeah, how's it going,
Is it
everybody?
working this time?
Yeah, Andy here from EverTrek. I'm with me, Dave. Um,
Hey, guys.
yeah, I think we might be on opposite sides of the screen today because Andy is you're gonna bail, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, no, it's been a weird one, but yeah, I'm heading off in probably about 40 minutes, but we've got heaps of stuff to crack on with anyway. But yeah, Dave is weird. This is the first time I've kind of done it and been on the other
I
side, right? This
Yeah,
is weird.
it's the first time I've done it where I haven't just had a blue screen apparently, and no
You had a blue
sound
screen
and
last week.
yeah, well, we figured it out now, haven't we? So I think going forward we've got it sort of sussed out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, apologies for last week. But I just want you all to know that it was far more stressful for me during that blue screen than it was anyone else. Hey, Marky V's here. Got the pleasure of meeting old Marky boy last week. So
Oh yeah,
that was
Mark. I heard
nice.
you came to EverTrek HQ. Yeah, sorry I couldn't catch up with you. I was on the road, but yeah, always nice to see EverTrekkers come down to South Wales. But yeah, Dave, Ramona makes a good point. Are we live yet?
I think we're live. I mean, I've had it confirmed
I think
by
yeah.
Lauren. I've had it confirmed by my phone, and I'm reading these questions come in. But
I
we
just
don't.
realised on every other live we've kind of ever done. Yeah, we do it. But yeah, hey guys, yeah, if you are joining us, do say hello. I know I was off last week, but yeah, Dave did an awesome job. No tech issues or anything, which was great.
Yeah, I was going to say
Yeah, so
awesome job might be overselling it slightly. I would say survived. We got something in the form of a live out, and it was
yeah.
all good in the end.
Well, it sounded good. Dave, I obviously know we've had a chat about it. You were talking about altitude, about the obviously the dangers, and we've touched on it a
Yeah,
few times over the last maybe 12 to 18 months. But some really good stuff, mate. I watched it a little bit from my camper van up in Scotland. It was quite entertaining. But yeah, today is yeah, and if you're joining us now, obviously we are on opposite sides because I am legging it halfway through. But we
yep,
want to start off talking about we haven't really done too much on the lives around Machu Picchu. Because it's one of the newer trips that we've done. I mean, if you've been around EverTrek for a while, you know that kind of Nepal and Everest Base Camp was, kind of our Big Mac, if you like, and all our EverTrekkers who came back, they were looking for more adventures, and we were like, okay, let's look around, and yeah, obviously Kilimanjaro is a big one, very popular, and also Machu Picchu as well. So that took us to Peru, and we've got a very very good team out there. They've been going, I think it's about 21, 22 years. And Juan Pablo, who runs the operation for us over there, is a great guy. And we were looking at different routes to Machu Picchu because all the research we do, and we always like to do it a little bit different. Whatever we do, whether it's the long way, the highway, the scenic route. We like to take our time, and we wanted to do that with Machu Picchu because I've seen countless times, many pictures, and there's a lot of people there, and I'm like, well, how can we get around that? Which is why we've done what we've done with Machu Picchu, which is do kind of a brand new route, if you like, called the Hidden Valley, and then when we thought, well, maybe if we can talk a little bit about that today and why we did that, and also, because there are other routes there, and if our route isn't for you because it is more remote.
yeah.
Is less touristy, which is what we like. I mean, we like to think that EverTrekkers kind of, prefer. Sorry, I got put off there. Alexandra, have I had a shower? Yeah, I've had two in the last 24 hours, but yeah, but it's probably the new hat, is it? Is that what you're saying? Looking fresh. Also as well, for some reason today we are HD. This is full on HD now.
Yeah, that
Apparently,
might be
Dave,
why you're looking so fresh today, and
is that what it is?
yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah, and
Nice. This is what a
yeah,
week off does, you see. And actually having a shower helps. So yeah, nice to be fresh. But yeah, so going back to Machu Picchu, that's what we want to talk about. So some of the different routes, whether it's right for you, what Machu Picchu is all about, essentially, isn't it, Dave?
yeah, exactly. Well, it is one of those where it's become sort of synonymous with tourism,
Yeah,
and it's also seen as one of the more accessible treks for people if they want to be, if it's their first time going to altitude. Sometimes people can be a little bit sort of worried about going straight to sort of Everest or Kili or somewhere that's classed as over 5,500 meters. So something like this is potentially
yeah,
more of a sort of although it's still, high altitude, and we go over 4,000. 900 meters over the pass.
Yep.
So it is one of those that we've still EverTrekkified, the trek. But we also, like I said, we put a lot of research into it, and like we said in the email, you put a tremendous amount of research into everything we do. Like if we're going to go from here to the train station, Andy will plan a route, and any interesting things on the way, that we'll stop by. And if Andy also says, I found this awesome new route, should be quicker, pack an extra packed lunch, a tent, and maybe let your family know that you won't see them for a week or two. But and we is that philosophy kind of like goes into all of our treks. So we don't just think like, how do we get to Machu Picchu? We think, okay, is there another way? What else can you see? What more can you do? And is there a way to do it so you're not going to be queuing, because we've seen you've all seen the Inca Trail. I mean, if you think the queues on Everest are bad, you should see the Inca Trail ones. It is quite a lot, although still amazing. But we actually come from a completely opposite angle, don't we? It's
it's and also as well, I think the Peruvian government have done a lot to combat that. Having limited permits per day. I think there's a limit of like 500 people now, which is great. They've obviously realized, okay, it's very popular. You don't want to take anything away from the area, which is why they've done that. So they limited the amount of people that can go there, which is great. But then, it's nice then because of all these different routes. And the thing is, where Machu Picchu is located, Machu Picchu isn't that high. It's I think it's like 2,300 meters, something like that. Say not high, it's about 1,000 meters over Ben Nevis. So it's still high. But, when we're all talking about extreme altitude, it's not as high as, if you go to Everest Base Camp, for instance, which is 5,300 meters, or Summit of Kilimanjaro, which is 5,895 meters. So, it's not extreme altitude, but the routes in which you go there, like a big popular route these days is the Salcante route, beautiful route that goes around. It does. The reason we've done this really, because we were very close to doing the Salcante route, if I'm honest, while researching it, is because, we'd heard some kind of negative feedback from people who had done that. And if you've done the Salcante route, like, I don't want to take anything away from it. It's a beautiful place from the research we've done. And, it's just our suppliers, and we were like, look, if the route, how can we make that different? And, we're not a million miles away from the Salcante route, if we're honest. And it's kind of the valley over, which is the Hidden Valley. That's why we call it the Hidden Valley. But with the Salcante route, you kind of skirt around the mountains. You've got Salcante Mountain, just over 6,000 meters. Which is a beautiful mountain, and you've kind of, it's always there. But that's why we thought, right, okay, let's take the beautiful aspects of that and then skirt around it, which is where we come up with the Hidden Valley.
Yeah.
But so the Salcante is getting a lot busier. Again, there's a reason for that, is that there's no permit restrictions on that route. So, the Inca Trail there is. So hopefully with regards to the Inca Trail, that does get quieter, and parts of it, like for instance, when we're going up to we're going up and climbing you might have seen pictures of the steep stairs going up to Machu Picchu. Hopefully they won't be as busy when we're there. But I mean, obviously it's very challenging at the moment across the whole world. I mean, you guys, you've been around the community for a while, that we've been planning these trips for a long time now. It just feels crazy that we haven't run a trip since March last year, which is surreal, really. But absolutely crazy. But I'm just reading some comments there. I know I've heard about internet issues, right?
And do I have your permission to downgrade us from 1080 to 720 and potentially end the entire stream and cause all manner of
problems? Why is it coming out not too good?
Apparently there is a bit of a lag between our voice and what we're saying, so it's like a badly dubbed movie at the moment.
It's fun. I think I'd rather keep that than if we cancelled it and we'd have to start again.
So I'm hearing it's not awful, it's bearable, and that's from one of our harshest critics. So we're gonna go pretty good with that.
There we go. Let's crack on, I think, Dave. Yeah,
it definitely seems better now, according to Jane. So that's good. All I needed to know.
Has someone put money in the meter? Just asking.
Yeah,
we put 50p in.
Yeah, apparently there is some sort of outage that's affecting lots of different websites, internet providers, and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
So it's not just us this time, but we wouldn't want to let but after last week's shenanigans, this is like a well-oiled machine, so let's not complain too hard. But yeah, so Jane's actually made a good point here about that guy. Remember, he was in the news, so he actually got stuck out in Peru during the first lockdown, I believe, and was able to actually go to Machu Picchu, and he's had the whole region to himself. Like, how amazing is that? That's just outstanding work.
I think it's clear, isn't it? I mean, whenever there's something bad happens, there's always a positive thing that can come out of it. And what a story that guy must have. To be there. It must feel like one of those, maybe the first people that discovered it. It must have been amazing. It must have been. I'm just reading some of the comments again around light and how fast it travels, Paul. But right, Dave. Before we go into the Machu Picchu stuff again, just want to give a shout out to all the people that have joined. A couple of us, the EverTrekkers, who have done quite a lot of EverTrekkers, but joined some of the Yetis in doing the Strides for Guides. It's been fantastic over the last just over a week now, since the 1st of June, almost up to £1,000. Definitely, if Lauren, I know you're on the comments, if you could drop the link to the GoFundMe page, that'd be awesome. Just want to put out there that if anyone wants to join, do join. You've still got time. Especially if you like, if Bry, because I don't know if Bry's on the live today, but he seems to do a marathon a week, so it'd be quite easy to get 100 kilometers in June, but not easy, but doable. And if you want to join in with us, you still can. I think we're up to 88 people so far. And just to, almost talk about it a bit more, because there's a lot of positivity around getting out there and doing it. But I just want to remind everyone, don't forget to share. Because, I know a lot of people are sharing their strides, which is great. But don't forget to just put the link on there as well, because, all the people you can reach. And if they can even just give a tenner, it's great. And we can help the guys over in Nepal and help the guys over in Tanzania, because that's our aim. So, although I know it's great to share stuff, and I'm like that, I share my experiences on social media. But share that link as well if you can. And if you can put maybe why you're doing it, on there as well, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And I know it's also a bit frustrating because I've had a bit of this tech issues. We are limited with Strava, unfortunately. When I got in touch with Strava, it was going to cost about £10,000 to set up a proper challenge, which would have meant a lot easier. But as this is for charity, we had to do with setting up a club, and you're restricted with certain things there. One of them is you can only choose to run, cycle, or swim. Now, obviously, with us, the closest to walking or trekking and running is the run option. So it is becoming a bit of a faff, should I say, bit of a nightmare with regards to logging people's things. But if you are on Strava, because I've got my watch here, and I think the other day it uploaded my hike as a hike or a walk, so it didn't actually go in because it only counts the runs. You've just got to change it to a run. I know Dave's mentioned that last week, and just to repeat that, because so you make sure that your walks and your runs, everything is counted, and it's all a bit of fun, guys. Great to have everyone out and enjoy themselves.
Yep.
It's great to see. So if you want to get involved, I say we got the Lawrence put the Strides for Guides fundraiser link on there. It's got all the information. And if you're not on Strava, don't worry. Just download we got a little sort of tracker there. You can just write it down the old school way. And we can crack on.
Yeah, exactly. There was a world before Strava when people just, we used to take a person at their word. Put it down on the paper, get out there. But just to echo what Andy said, it's all about the sponsorship and stuff like that. We've had some good donations so far, and let's just push it to the max. Let's squeeze every last penny we can out of it to help those guys. Jerome is saying, am I still in charge of the camera? He can't see me. Jerome, we might be on opposite sides of the screen. So what you want to do is move your eyes slightly to the left or right, and you should be able to see me. Is Dave Simpson's picture up? It's not up yet, unfortunately. And
Dave, what is it? You still got it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. So the Simpsons picture is still here. Look, still there. See, look at the lads. And unfortunately, the space where it's going to be going is sort of up above Kumbu, and okay. I know it doesn't look very high, but I can't stand on a sort of chair with the knee at the moment. So I'm waiting for someone to give me a hand with that. But otherwise, if I stand on a chair to get up there, and all our chairs have wheels, it'll just go, and I'll lose my other knee. But
Brilliant. But Dave, yeah, should we crack on with? I know we've had some questions in around Machu Picchu, and also some questions. Just to remind everyone as well, if you do have any questions today, fire them at us. That's what we're here for, to answer your questions. So anything about, obviously, I know we're talking about Machu Picchu today and the different routes, but if you've got any questions at all about anything, as always, drop them in, and we can we can take them on.
Yeah, marvelous. We got one question from Karen that says, "Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you very much."
Morning, Karen.
It's been a difficult year. Sure, our business has taken a hit. Do you have any insider info of when you can start organising foreign treks again? Well, it has been difficult, I'll be honest, but we've actually been we've done remarkably well. Part of that is because of people like yourself and whoever's on this live. Andy's resorted to just being a blue screen right now. But yeah, we've done incredibly well. This is amazing. Where have you gone, And? I think we've lost Andy. But anyway, we're going to carry on. Amazing. I thought it was going so well. We did 16 minutes. We heard the guitar noise and then it all stopped. But anyway, yeah, to answer your question, EverTrek is actually, we've done remarkably well. We've got a great community of people that are still looking to go on these adventures and book trips. So we've actually done very well. Secondly, I don't have access to any insider information, unfortunately. All the information I have is pretty much what's put out there. We do get some information, particularly from Nepal and Tanzania, sent to us from our suppliers. So we get that a lot easier than perhaps anyone else would, because who would you contact to get it? But yeah, other than that, there's no real sort of insider information. Let's have a look. Yeah, and Andy is trying to do something, and I'm not entirely sure what it is exactly. Hang on, this might be fun. If I bring you in, and will it be two Daves? Yeah, so two Daves. This is remarkable. So just put up with both of me for a second. Yeah, so, and with regards to that, yeah, we're so fortunate that obviously you guys, everyone there is, been really supportive of everything that, EverTrek has done. And we've launched new trips, we've taken on new staff. It's been a real adventure. I'll be honest with you, I prefer a proper adventure where I actually get a flight and go to another country. But other than that, yeah. So I tell you what, we're just going to bring him in this way. Yeah, this is it. So can you hear Andy, by the way?
Hello everyone, I'm back.
Yeah, there we go. Jump in, mate, jump in.
Right, where are we at? Like, where are we questions?
So yeah, right, here we are. So
finally,
yeah, it's one of those. So yeah, we got another one from Amanda, who's she actually used to live in Cusco. That's amazing. How did you end up living in Cusco? Yeah, but she's actually loves the Inca Trail and recommends the Ausangate trek, which is a lesser known area. So yeah, it is something that
actually it's really, it looks amazing.
Yeah,
it looks really good. I mean, yeah, keep a lookout for that. But
yeah, it is something I think we might expand into, at some point. But what we really wanted to do first of all was sort of get Machu Picchu launched so people can go there, because we had so much interest in Machu Picchu, and now it's been one of those where we had to do it our way though. Ramona, that's not social distancing. That's fine. Me and Andy are actually in a bubble. So yeah, I actually live on my own, and the only people I socialize with is this fella here. So yeah, all good.
They can't hear me, I realised. Might be worth changing the audio to that.
Yeah, let's have a little look.
So microphone, yeah, change that one.
That one.
Sorry guys, to this one. Can you hear us now?
Right, you should be able to hear us.
Us now. I love that. Shona's put like, can I hear you very well?
Yeah.
Can you hear us now, guys?
Andy sounds like he's taken from talking from the bottom of a swimming pool.
Let's have a look. Boom.
Yeah,
here we go.
Tina,
as soon as we got this, it's fine. Right. Sorry about this, guys. Clearly, we're very organised the last couple of weeks, aren't we? This is what happens when we mess with the times. 100%. Yeah. Here we go. Boom. 12:20. Perfect. Let's go. Okay. Right. Where were we? Cusco, Ausangate.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, with the Orsangate trip, we were actually, I was very close to putting it as a little bit of an add-on because it's about 4 or 5 days. But then with the Hidden Valley trip, we were looking at it, and it's already quite challenging as it is. You're going up to a place called Tokto Pass, which is about 4,900 meters. So you're going over that and dropping down then to Machu Picchu, and that already we thought was a challenge enough. But it is very good. I definitely want to look at that in the future, if we can.
Yeah.
What have we got?
So Leah's asked. So the Machu Picchu route is the one with the bike ride. So
is it on a bike day?
I know. Yeah, there are a lot of mountain bike paths around there. Not the one that we do. We stick to the trekking route.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, you don't want any sort of like crazy mountain bikers flying down around you and stuff like that because they'll hurt their knee. But no, we definitely, it's something we might look into.
Yeah.
We've mentioned before, and we've teased a little bit about adventures on 2 wheels. A lot of work's going to be put into that in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So hopefully then after that we're going to have some stuff, and who knows? Watch this space. And
what were you saying then about the about the bike ride?
Oh yeah, so there's a lot of mountain biking in Peru.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah,
very soon.
Very soon.
But on the itinerary, I know there's a day with Machu Picchu. I think Leah might be asking because of that. With regards to there is a day where we do go out on the bike, just to kind of go out and acclimatize essentially. And it's quite a nice sort of area. I forgot what they call it, Alia Tembo, I think it's called. And we go out there and we just do about 2-3 hours on a bike. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
You get to see some of the older villages there before we go back to Cusco, get ready to start the trip. But John has asked, do you have any news on Tanzanian and Peruvian vaccination program? Very limited news, isn't it? I've not heard anything.
Yeah, so Tanzania were in particular. I'm not sure what's happening in Peru, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I know they rely on a lot of import at the moment, so it is quite tricky. Nepal has asked for the UK to supply them with vaccines because their supply from India is slowed significantly. Tanzania, they were slow off the gate, to be honest with you. So to be honest, we don't know. I have inquired, and I've inquired several times as to what's happening over there. But obviously, trying to get information, like the way it works, I would contact my equivalent in the tourism company, who would then make contacts with the tourism boards over there and the Minister of Tourisms and stuff like that. And the Minister of Tourisms, maybe more than Minister of Tourism, and then the information just doesn't get bounced back to us. So as soon as we do know a little bit more about that, we will spread the word. Needless to say, it's not anywhere like up to the level that we are in the UK. So those guys will be getting vaccinated. We've done quite well in Nepal. So a lot of our guides or a lot of our support staff have all received the vaccination in Nepal. So Nepal is, out of all of our destinations, is the most well equipped in terms of vaccinations, and also the number of people that help us over there having received it. So
I think it's also worth noting, isn't it? A lot of countries are definitely just something off the news as well as what we hear on the grapevine, is that are way behind where they thought they'd be. Especially some of the South American countries, certainly some of the African countries. I think it didn't help with Tanzania that, God rest his soul, but the Prime Minister, he was a bit of a COVID denier, wasn't he, really, or didn't do much to fight COVID, put it that way.
Yeah.
And then obviously he passed away, which I think was due to COVID, right?
Well,
we're still unsure about that, but it was
he became ill and passed away.
Right.
But that's all we know.
That's all we know.
But
rumors.
He was a very divisive guy over there. Like a lot of the people that we spoke to on the ground, at least, because he built a railway that connected Moshi with other tourism areas.
Yeah.
And that helped those local vicinities tremendously with like trade and stuff like that. So he was actually really fondly thought of. But then there was obviously, there's a wider part of the population, not just in this little corner of Tanzania, that obviously had different views. But we try to stay away from the whole political side of things as much as we can. Obviously, we do kind of, tourism is all part of it. But I think he was a little bit slow off the gate, to be honest. And I think as a result of that, I don't know really how much vaccines are being sent to them. But
Dave, cheery subject. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, let's go back to the mountains.
Yeah, is that a coughing emoji?
I
Cheery
know.
subject, coughing emoji. Yeah.
No, I suppose it's just addressing it that, you know, essentially, guys, when it comes to vaccinations, where, you know, the UK is far ahead of a lot of countries, which is brilliant, you know, and but not everyone's having them. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's a free country, and some people won't choose to have them, and that's, you know, that's cool with them, because, you know, we have to respect that. But I think you know, in my opinion, I think we both share this, Dave, is that the more people get vaccinations, the sooner we can get back to traveling, and traveling without any restrictions. You know, that's what we want, and to get back running trips, whether that's Peru, Tanzania, and Nepal.
Yeah.
We can only do it when we're legally allowed. And I think once the numbers are low, once the hospitalizations are low, and obviously once we're allowed, and you're allowed out of the country, you know, variants are always an issue. But my personal opinion is, well, okay, so it's varied. It's still the same thing, right? It's just, yeah, it might be more contagious, but it's no more deadly. But there's so many opinions going around, and obviously I don't want this Tuesday tune in to be all around, you know, opinions on that. But yeah, like always, guys, we always want to be as transparent as we can, and that's our thoughts, you know, when it comes to it. And we really want to get back to traveling now. Like, we're hoping by the autumn we can get back to Nepal and get back to, you know, doing what we love, which is getting out in the mountains, and let's get out there. I mean, you know, that's why we've been working really hard, actually, just to try and do something in the UK, because although it's not really our bag. I mean, you know, we're all about the altitude, and we don't want to go too far away from that. But that being said, we have to also address the current situation, which is we can't travel. Let's do some stuff locally. And you know, so whilst we're on the live now, we may as well talk about the Snowdonia Explorer.
Yep.
Which we've had a few people book on. Now, there's only 8 spaces on that, so I think we've got 4 or 5 left. So if you are interested on coming on that, just drop us a message. Lauren, if you can pop the link in the comments. If you do want to book in, guys, I think it's £395, cracking sort of 3 or 4 days in North Wales. It's the first of hopefully more.
Yeah.
But because, again, like because we've got you know, some really good teams in the countries we operate, it's different in the UK, because although we do the training weekends and everything, it's very, very different. You know, so we want to make sure that we got the trips at EverTrek again.
Yep.
So they're, you know, we don't have a drop in standards.
Yeah.
You know, and we know there's a lot of mountain guides out there. There's a lot of people who run trips in the UK, but you know, in the terms of ones we've seen are not quite up to our standards yet. We got Steve in North Wales, who's amazing. You know, you know, guys, he's great, and you're going to love him. He's going to be you know, a great guy and guide. You learn a lot of him as well. I mean, although he'll take you on an adventure, he's always sharing information.
Yeah.
Stuff that will help when you're on, you know, a bigger adventure. So yeah, Snowdonia Explorer, guys. Lauren's just dropped it in the comments, so do jump on, have a little look at the information. Any questions, just drop us a little email, info@evertrek.co.uk, or just drop us a message on the chat on the website.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We've done all our training with Steve.
Yeah.
So we've done a lot of our like winter mountaineering and stuff like that. So yeah, it's it's almost annoying because he has so much like information, and you feel like you're learning so much, but you've got such limited time with him. So yeah, really do like mine the guy for as much information as you can, because in terms of everything like navigation, not just sort of using a map to kind of, you know, go from A to B, but also to kind of find out where you are when you really have no clue.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most important things about map reading that we learned, which was, you know, having a map is always useful, but if you already know where you are, all the map is essentially is showing you the road, you know. But if you have no idea where you are, and someone hands you a map and they say, well, point to where you are, and you have no clue, how do you get out of a mountain then, especially if there's sort of, you know, mist and everything like that. So there is a, you know, he teaches you all that methods, not necessarily on the Snowdonia Explorer, but I reckon if you asked him, you'd get some information out of him.
Would. Yeah, he's great like that.
You know,
but, so you know, definitely the places you can't get an Uber. You know, you need something else to get out of those mountains. You know, if you're in a challenging situation.
Yeah.
And we like to think that you know, we've seen over the last couple of weeks loads of you get out and about, and you know, it's really been quite inspiring actually to see everyone get out, knowing that we can't obviously travel to certain countries at the moment. So you're doing what you can here, which is great, guys, and keep it going.
Yep.
You know, help all this training, all the preparation will really help when you're on the next adventure. You know, the next big adventure. You know, and I know Ramona's been out all the time, and obviously with all the Escapes to the Peak District gang, which has been great to see.
Peak gang.
Yeah, the Peak gang. And yeah, so, you know, keep going, guys. Keep getting out there. There's a message in the group as well, in the High Altitude EverTrekkers group. Because I know obviously you've set up little walking groups, but individuals as well, and just message and say, oh, hey guys, I'm out in Snowdonia on Saturday. Anyone else fancy a walk? You know, I'm sure there's loads of EverTrekkers who are always out and about, especially now.
Not me.
But not Dave, unfortunately. You got your operation next week, haven't you?
Yeah, operation on Monday, yeah.
But yeah, just before we got disruption, I know we were talking about obviously Machu Picchu. So I want to go back to that just to sort of cover that off. So what did we talk about? We talked about obviously the new route that we're doing, the Hidden Valley, more remote, more challenging. I think Jerome asked, are we still doing it? Yeah, mate, 100%.
Tomakea.
The Tomakea route, that's a fantastic new route that, you know, we're the only company in the UK to do that route. You know, and it's, we worked hard on setting that up, and it's going to be great. So yeah, 100%, we're still doing it.
Yep.
Salcante route is another route that you can go. Negatives about that, I would say, very busy nowadays. Or, you know, the last time you were able to go on there, so we'll be busy again. No restrictions on permits, so again, a bit of a negative. Plus sides, very beautiful. You know, very popular. I think over the last 5 years, probably been the most popular Machu Picchu trip. Then we go over to the Inca Trail, the classic. Everyone's heard of the Inca Trail. And again, with us, we do go on there for sort of half a day or so anyway. So you do get to see the things that you would like to see.
Yeah.
But if just an Inca Trail trek for us, you know, we think there's better out there. Whether that's Salcante or if you want to come with us and go on the Hidden Valley trip. You know, and Lauren, if you could pop the Hidden Valley trip into the comments, because I know a lot of people on here, usually on the live, but if there's any newbies that haven't seen that, definitely download the guide for the Machu Picchu trip. It gives you all the information on there. And as I said before, any questions, guys, just let us know.
Yeah, awesome. And we do have a question,
Hey.
which is Simon has asked, what's the water situation in Peru?
Okay.
Are we using water filters like in Nepal? So yes, that is our intention and aim. We haven't actually supplied them with them over there yet because of we haven't had any trips to do.
Yeah.
But all of our trips, we want to use the water filters on.
Yeah.
Not only, you know, there's two main positives with that, though. People say that, you know, the water filters are expensive. Yes, but when you offset the cost against the amount of bottled water you're not buying, they're actually way, way, way cheaper. And secondly, they're way safer as well than using sort of other methods like boiling water or chlorine, because chlorine just tastes disgusting. You can't drink for like half an hour or 15 minutes after you've applied it. It takes time, where with these you just pass the water through the filter and it's ready to drink. I think it was already sort of Nepal, kind of just, those guys are just so good. But we went to Tanzania, trialed it out on an individual basis with the bags and the filters, and it does work. It takes a little bit of time, but it's really, really good. So yeah, we want to be doing that on every single trip that we do. Yeah, I mean, I always got a water bottle with me now anyway, because I ran out of water on Ben Nevis. So I've got the water to go one with the water filter in there.
I bet you wouldn't make that mistake again.
No, I thought I was going to die.
It was crazy, man. That's been so hot.
Because we did the CMD route on Ben Nevis. So you go about a third of the way up the tourist route, and then you sort of peel off to the left, and then you follow this ridge. And we were the only people on the ridge. There's no one else there. And we did a huge day of scrambling and stuff like that. And it was like 13 hours in total from start to finish.
Yeah, it's heck of a...
and I think for the last 4.5 hours, 5 hours of that, I didn't have any water whatsoever.
Yeah.
And what was really funny was, like, as I was walking down, we went up there and then we came down the tourist route. I wasn't far from the car park, but I started chatting to this guy and had a nice back and forth. And then I noticed he had a litre of water in his rucksack, and we were about 20 minutes. But I was so thirsty, I said, would you mind just putting a little bit of water in my bottle? And he went, no, I need this, mate. I was like, okay.
Wow. he's not an EverTrekker.
I know. So I said, he was like, no, I need this, mate. I need it all. I was like, okay, fine. And then 20 minutes later, I was back there and I had a drink. But it was just at that point, it wasn't survival. It was just something to kill the thirst. But
yeah, God, okay.
Well, yeah. So ever since then, like, I will
let's chat to that guy and yeah. What if it was flipped? How we would think then? But there we are.
We were getting on like a house on fire, so I thought I was a shoe in there for the water. Obviously,
mate,
but
never
spoke to him. Never spoke to him again.
Jerome's asked, actually, serious question. Yeah, Anyway, exactly. Yeah, serious question. Yeah, we don't mind serious questions, guys. Bring them on. Honestly, chuck them in because that's what we're here for, right? Obviously, we like a laugh, as you guess, but obviously serious questions as well. Will Morocco be open by October? Do you think? Yeah, I know you postponed your trip to next year, haven't you? Opportunity to do Toubkal. I think one thing I'd say is that's on amber at the moment, which means that it's highly likely to change by then. I've actually and Jerome dropped us a message actually. We're doing a trip in November, around about my birthday time. It was going to be kind of a private thing, but we've opened it up to a few people now. And basically, I'm going out there myself to Morocco, Toubkal in November. So if you want to come and join me, love to have you with us. We do have our Steve, who's filming it, creating a video for us in Morocco, because that's going to be probably the first country that we're going to be able to get back to. I mean, we'll see what happens, but with the autumn, we're still positive about Nepal, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Morocco, the next one that I'll be kind of going on will be Toubkal. That's in November. I believe it's the 5th or 6th of November. I think it's the 5th. But we're doing just 4 days. So if you want to come on that one, Jerome, I'd love to have you with us. And yeah, if you want to come on that one, go onto the website or drop us an email, actually, Jerome, info@evertrek.co.uk. We can discuss that. And that goes to anyone if you want to join on that trip. It is one that we will be doing some filming on. So there will be some interviews and things like that. So, if you're going to be on camera, smile for the rest of the EverTrekkers. But if you've seen any of our previous videos, like Kilimanjaro, the long way, Journey to Base Camp, seen any of those, you'll know kind of like a little bit about what we do, and talk about the journey.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely sort of drop us an email.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's going to be my return to action.
It is, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Fingers
So
crossed for you.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers and knees crossed. Yeah.
And toes crossed as well, because I know that a few guys have got Morocco, because this is the reason we haven't moved Morocco yet. All the trips the rest of this year. I mean, the other trips we have up until the beginning of September in Tanzania, Peru, and Nepal, we've moved all trips, but Morocco we haven't. That's because it's on amber, So because it can go green at any time, that's why we haven't moved that trip, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll obviously let you know as soon as we can. If it is on amber still, it's still going to be very difficult to run that trip.
Yeah.
I have to be honest with you. So we'll obviously let you know nearer the time. With what we're on now, we're on June. I'd say maybe in another 4 to 6 weeks we'll know a bit more. Marky V, I know you're obviously going in August as well, and obviously more than welcome to join myself, mate, in November if you wanted to. It'd be a pleasure to trek with you. Same with Tina, if you wanted to. So yeah, just drop us a message. That is the 4-day mine, the one I'm going on in November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just let us know.
Awesome. And who's wearing yellow today? That's the lesser spotted Yeti. So what you've actually witnessed there is quite rare.
It's like snow leopard, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we normally set up like motion capture cameras around the office, and there it wait. So
brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, another little question here.
Hey Chris, how you doing, mate?
Do you know Chris? Do we know Chris?
No, he's just been part of the community for.
I thought that was Major Chris Collins. Then remember, is his name Chris Collins? Major Chris Collins?
Lee Collins.
Lee Collins.
Yeah, pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah, great guy.
Apologies, Chris, and if you are a major, hello. Yeah, so got 2 treks. Like, hang on. What we're gonna do? Let's see. Hang on.
I was gonna say, when are you gonna bring the question?
There we go. There we go.
So
See, mate, I haven't had this power for a while. Got 2 treks lined up. EBC, which is currently unscheduled, was supposed to be May, and Kili, which is booked for 2023. It's looking like EBC won't happen for us until maybe 2022. So can we push the Kili trip to have a similar gap? Yes. So the first, we've reiterated a few times, and we'll keep doing, just so you guys feel as comfortable as possible, that you do have ultimate flexibility with the trips. The right time for you to go is the right time for us to take you. There's not just COVID. Yeah. Historically, there's always been reasons why people might need to reschedule a trip. They could hurt their knee. They could, work could happen. They have babies. They get married. They get divorced. All of these things tend to sort of interrupt their plans at one stage or another. And we've always said that, well, look, our main goal is to get people out on these trips, not to book you on and never take you.
Yeah.
So we'll offer ultimate flexibility with that. We even rescheduled one guy's trip because he didn't have 6 months left on his passport. So he went
in China at the time, was
he? Yeah, he got as far as he got as far as Hong Kong, and then they wouldn't let him board the flight to Nepal.
Yeah, he wasn't happy. I said to him, look, these things happen, guys. We'd obviously like more notice than that, but we realise things happen, and anything like that. If you're having any issues at all and you want to move it anytime, Chris, you want to move your trip and have that same sort of gap, 100% we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd like to get you there, Chris, as soon as possible, mate. But I know the last 18 months certainly been a bit of a gap, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But right, yeah, a couple more then, guys, and I think we'll finish off. So any more questions, do drop them in. Dave, I think I know we covered a lot about Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
Great trip. Strides for Guides we covered. What else we covered? Snowdonia Explorer.
Yeah.
I think the only other one really to cover is the training weekends today, because I know we've got a couple more spaces in September.
Yeah.
So I think we should talk about that. We've got a fully booked trip in August, which is great. I'll be on that myself. Can't wait. Honestly,
Base camp support.
Base camp support. Dave, you'll be there looking after everything.
Yeah, I'll have sandwiches, teas and coffees ready for all you hikers to return.
You promised now.
I'll be honest. I wish I hadn't said that.
It's okay, mate. I can't wait for that coffee now. Honestly,
all right, teas and coffees. Yeah, I'm just not making sandwiches.
No, but it's honestly, can't wait for that. Just to do some hiking with everyone. It's been such a long time.
Yeah,
I've been out the last couple of weeks. I've been lucky to have been up North Wales and Scotland. It's been a fantastic, but hiking with in terms of as running trips with a meeting our EverTrekkers. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
really missed it. So yeah, looking forward to catching up with all of you.
It's like a 3-day long tune-in.
It is like a.
You might never tune in again.
You might get fed up, but you.
But no, and
I hope you won't.
The amazing thing is, James, is that we do a kit talk when we're out there as well. So not just it's not just it used to just be around Nepal, but now obviously we do far more trips. So it's now what the idea is to turn you into a sort of expert before you even arrive in whatever country you're heading to. So we set the pace for the weekend. So we stay together naturally. Yeah. Every single hiking group will stretch out and contract and stuff like that, but we don't want anyone sort of running off or going, way too far behind. Yeah. So we tend to stay together as a group. We set mountain pace so everyone knows what's going on, and you'll get used to it. So when you arrive in Nepal or Tanzania or Machu Picchu, you'll already be sort of, used to walking like that with a group of people. And the other thing is, so I'll pack a bag like I'm going on a high altitude trip. So normally
Jane's got a shot glass already. I think we have to say Maindel Bhutans, just so you can get that tick. Sorry, Dave.
Maindel Bhutans, never heard of them. Never heard of them, mate. And so the other thing is, so I'll pack a kit bag when I'm there, and I'll be honest, it's a ball ache because I pack the bag as if I'm going for the trip. And I always say, if it ain't
tease, isn't it?
Yeah, I always say, if it ain't in my bag, I haven't brought it.
Yeah.
So it puts me under a lot of pressure because sometimes people are like, "Where's your head torch, Dave?" And I'm like,
"Brilliant.
Okay, fine. I haven't got the head torch, but I've got a lot of."
Where's your waterproof jacket? Where's your down jacket, Dave?
Yeah, well,
you're traveling light.
Remember, I didn't bring a waterproof trousers to Killy. That was fun.
It was fun watching you put on a smaller pair of waterproof.
Well, yeah, the guide,
skin-tight.
The guide who was like a racing snake said, "I've got a pair for you," and he bought them out, and I was like, "No way!" But then it became a challenge to try and get them on, and I did get them on. But my step was only about 4 inches. And if I dropped anything, I'd have to, Andy, can you pick that up for me? I didn't want to sneeze when I had them on. And they weren't exactly cheap either. They were proper...
they were good at Burgas, were they?
No, they were...
the Deluge?
I can't even remember the name. Arc'teryx.
Arc'teryx?
Yeah, they were crazy
They're
expensive.
Like gold.
Ones. Yeah, I know. And I've got them on like to a point where I can literally, they were stretched so far, they were practically see-through, like it was insane. But yeah, but that's it. Yeah, so I'll pack a bag and everything, and it's all kit that I used on a trip before.
Yeah.
And I'll weigh it to show you that I can get it all to under 15 kilos. And then literally open it up, and it's like, show and tell. Why have we bought this? Why have we left that? Is this really enough? That sort of thing. So I
think something I brought in to one of the first training weekends I did, I think it was the end of 2017, was one of the first ones. We've got a while now. And it just became very valuable. And like what Dave said, then we just bring the kit and we just talk about it. And one thing we say, if you're on the training weekend, is bring your own kit. If you want us to have a look at it and give our opinion on it, and say if it's any good. I know some people have brought some down jackets. I think some of them to a couple of training weekends, and I was like, maybe they're a bit lightweight for where you're going. Some people just need that. So if you want to bring anything and ask our advice, and also the group as well, because the rest of the people that be there, we never know who you're sitting next to. They could be a mountain guide, they could be someone that works and go outdoors or Cotswold outdoors. They could have some experience that might answer your question. Very similar to our community, we've got loads of different types of people who come from all different backgrounds, and it's great. You never know who you're sitting next to.
Yeah,
which is also quite fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Who are you? Dave?
Yeah, but also
nice.
So obviously we include breakfasts, but we don't just leave you to your own devices. Breakfast is I don't know what's wrong with me today. Honest to God, I think it's a hay fever. I've had really bad hay fever today, and I think it's doing my head in. Too many of them.
Brilliant.
But so breakfast is included. However, we don't leave it to your, I'm trying to enunciate, your own, we take you to all these really nice places. And one of them is there's a big Nepalese population in Brecon where the Gurkhas actually settled there. And there's a couple of really good, nice traditional Nepalese restaurants where we can go and get momos and dal bhat and whatever you want. And there's Brian as well. He might be on them. He was on the last one. I think you gate crashed a party actually. I think Brian actually, there was a party going on in because where we stayed was like there was two sort of connecting buildings, and there was a party going on in the other one, and I think you went and joined them.
It was, that was brilliant. That was, because I remember with Bri, who loves a bit of hydration, don't you, Bri? Much like myself, and that was a brilliant night. Good Gurkha beer. Side by side. I know. Well, we'll be doing more like this. I think we've been chatting with Steve, who's our video guy, and
you see what I did?
I did, and you literally put it up side by side. I like that.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit weird though. It's like side by side, like we're walking into an arc or something.
Yeah.
Like there's a big flow. Very good. I noticed what you were doing there. Don't click the wrong button though.
Does it? Well, it just says and. It doesn't fit.
No, we will be doing, it's going to be slightly different setup. I mean, the reason we did the side-by-side virtual setup initially was because we started these during lockdown. So with that in mind, and Dave was working at home, I was working at home, because that was, what we were allowed to do. That's why we did it, and we've kind of done it out of habit, really. But yeah, like before we started doing the Tuesday tune-ins, we used to do sometimes Q&As. Sometimes, like when Dave, you first joined, we did a little Q&A and introduction to Dave, and we did it side by side. And we're obviously now things are restricted, and obviously with me and Dave, we, like I said, we're in the same bubble. We're going to try and do a setup in the Summit Zone in the EverTrek, which is all the way over there. So it won't be at the desks; it'll be in our area. If you've watched the episode with Brecon Mountain Rescue, we're going to be doing it a little bit more like that. So I think Good Morning Britain cross with EverTrek.
Yeah.
And you might be halfway there. So we're going to be doing that setup around about once a month going forward, which should be quite nice. Because I also want to get, once we're allowed, I want to get people in to chat as well. We've had our first guest on the podcast, Kath Pendleton, but that was just on the podcast. But I want to get some people to come and chat on the tune-in as well.
Yeah, we've got some lined up.
We've got some lined up. We've got some really, really good people lined up so far. We're always trying to connect and meet, and people who have gone through challenges, people who've got their own stories that they can share with you, because obviously we can, just by speaking to them and learning from them, it can help all of us. Our aim is to help all of you. And if you can glean one golden nugget from their story, then happy days. That's our target. So, what did we say that was bingo? Or you just doing bingo?
I'm just literally. Do you know where you watch like the One Show and they bring up like Texas on the screen? Okay. Like when you're talking, I'm just drunk with power right now. I've never had the power before.
It's weird, isn't it? But look, I think we've covered loads of questions now. I think we'll kind of finish there. Dave, you got any final stuff to talk about before we leave?
Yeah, thank you for persevering.
Thanks everyone.
Gurkha beer, by the way, Jerome, is really great. There's two main beers in Nepal, which you'll see in most places, which is Gurkha and Everest beer. And there's a few others as well. There's those cans ones. Remember they've got like a what do you call it?
They're craft beer.
Craft beers, yeah. The posh beers, like
used to be. It's kind of but craft beer.
Man, I'm from Newport. We think Carlsberg is like high end.
Cooking lager.
Yeah. I wouldn't wash the car with it. But yeah, no, that's it. And I think, yeah, that's awesome. I think back to normal. Well, actually, no, you're on your own next week.
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Unless I might do it from my bed.
We'll see. We'll let everyone know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because but yeah, otherwise, yeah, have an awesome time. Yeah, no, it's been great.
All right, guys. Yeah, all the best. Have a wonderful week. Safe trekking out there. As you mentioned, as I mentioned in my little email yesterday, work as a team, and you'll have an awesome time. As Tam said, was it you stay as one team, you get there in the end, and that's the important.
That's not what he says.
What did he say?
He says, you stay as a team and you work together and you get there in the end.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
You lived in Scotland, right?
I did live in Scotland. Yeah.
There we go. You brought it back. Well,
there we go. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, all the best and have a lovely week. See you next week.
No, I see. Bye.
Bye.
Now we need to pretend to talk like on a news channel.
Yeah.